Kreiser aqui e o vídeo de hoje... é muito especial, gente, porque finalmente aconteceu. Eu tive a grande oportunidade de entrevistar parte do elenco de Stranger Things por causa dessa quarta temporada. Eu falei com o Jamie Bower Campbell, que é o Vecna da série, e o Joseph Quinn, que é o Ed. E assim, gente, vocês falam nas minhas entrevistas aqui do canal, nossa, você nem parecia nervosa, não sei como você consegue ficar tranquila. A real é que eu sempre tô nervosa nessas entrevistas. E assim, Stranger Things não teve como não demonstrar esse nervosismo, vocês vão ver aí. Eu me embromei na primeira pergunta, mas assim, gente, no final das contas, o que importa é que super deu pra fazer a entrevista. Eles foram uns fofinhos, eles eram muito receptivos, eles brincaram bastante durante a entrevista, então assim, foi um sonho conseguir conversar com eles. Espero que no futuro eu tenha outras oportunidades, principalmente porque a quinta já foi anunciada como a última. E eu queria também agradecer muito vocês, porque eu sei que essa oportunidade também vem do engajamento de vocês. Vocês são super engajados nos vídeos de Stranger Things. Eu amo fazer eles, eu amo discutir sobre a série, então só gratidão. Eu não acredito, gente, porque assim, eu entrevistei o elenco de The Boys e de Stranger Things na mesma semana. Foi uma semana tão surreal. Sabe quando você não realiza o que aconteceu? Eu ainda tô dessa forma e já passou um tempo desde quando eu fiz essas entrevistas, mas eu espero que vocês se sintam representados de alguma forma nas perguntas que eu fiz, que vocês curtam o conteúdo e aproveitem esses dois porque eles são maravilhosos. E também eu queria agradecer muito a Netflix pela oportunidade, até porque assim, eles me deram 10 minutos, só pra vocês saberem, geralmente não é isso que a gente tem de tempo, a gente tem às vezes 4, às vezes 6 minutos, 7 minutos, eu consegui falar 10 minutos com eles, o que é muito legal, então aproveitem muito e, gente, deixa muito like pro vídeo, ó, entregar pra um bando de gente pra cada vez mais eu conseguir trazer entrevistas como essa aqui pra vocês. Mas antes, não esquece de se inscrever aqui no canal e clicar no sininho pra receber notificação pra quando eu tiver um vídeo novo. Eu sempre faço uma cobertura completíssima de Stranger Things, ainda tem vídeos pra sair por aí, mas também outros filmes e séries e entrevistas tão legais quanto essa, então aproveita a entrevista. Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Hello.
My name is Natalia Kreiser, and it's such an honor to be here, talk to you guys, because I'm a huge fan of the show. And I have to say, Joseph, I hate you and I love you, because I cried 2 times for Ed's death.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He'll pay for the therapy.
I hear you actually play the guitar scene of the Metallica song. Duffer Brothers said that you rock, but I want your perspective of this scene. How was it, and how pretty did you have to do this scene?
So I found out about the sequence before we kind of really started shooting. It was during the hiatus, during the pandemic. So I knew that we were going to do it for a little while. Mm-hmm. So I had quite a lot of time to kind of practice. After I read it the next morning, I went and bought a guitar, started practicing for that. The actual day was really fun. It was great fun. We were on top of this camper van, Gaten and myself, just playing Metallica. It was a great experience. It was kind of the first time that the crew felt like they'd been in a kind of live music situation since the beginning of the pandemic. So it was a very kind of celebratory, silly day, and it was an amazing experience.
And Jamie, I saw a Netflix video showing you doing Vecna's voice. How was your process as vocal preparation and creation of his powerful voice?
So it took a minute. Started doing sort of like a classic kind of monster voice that was very nasal, a bit more gravelly, and I didn't feel like I had quite got it down yet. So I kind of went home and just did more work on it, you know, similar to Joseph, given the time that we had to prepare. And I would send Matt and Ross like little audio recordings or video recordings of me doing the voice with like spooky music going on in the background. But the sort of physicality of it is like more about kind of opening up the larynx, relaxing, and coming from the diaphragm predominantly, so that the sort of central core is all kind of coming out at once. And I also felt like it was about kind of the fact that everything that he's saying means something as well. There's not much like fluff to it. It's just like straight down the line. This is what I'm telling you is what I fucking mean. Sorry.
That's okay.
And so with that, there comes this sort of depth and this groundedness to it. But it did take a minute. But I have sung and I'm a singer, so I was able to kind of tap into certain tricks and tools and warm-up methods that I'd known of beforehand. Yeah.
Jamie, we know that you needed around 7 hours to be prepared to start to record. How was it like to take a break and go to the bathroom with full Magnus costume?
It was an interesting experience. So the sort of the suit itself is in various different parts, and one major part is the chest piece. And on the chest piece, there's like a sort of flap that goes down and is connected by my butthole, and I would have to ask, one of the boys, Mike or Duncan or any of them, to first of all like unpop me at the backs, and then there was a little zip that they had to unzip, and obviously I couldn't use my left hand because I had this hand, and then at the fingers I had these fingernails on this right hand. So yeah, it was a lot. Talk about shame. I think there is a lot of shame in that experience. But it was great. I never pierced myself, so that I'm fortunate about. So yeah, it's good. That is nice. Yeah, I agree.
Joseph, how was to see yourself characterized in 80s look? You look completely different, and in some way, did you want keep that look?
Well, I only wear the wig on weekends now, so that's kind of much nicer.
And it's a different name than Eddie as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know. It's a very kind of weird thing to kind of look at yourself and see yourself looking very drastically different to the way that you normally look. And did you experience that at all on this job?
I would love to have looked like that all the time. Yeah.
I know Jamie doesn't know what I mean, but yeah, it's a really funny experience, and I think kind of for any actor that's really useful, because if you kind of look different, you kind of act differently, and especially for kind of a character like Eddie, whose look is such a kind of big part of his identity and the subculture that he's kind of obsessed with. It just enables you to kind of, I don't know, bend it in different ways to kind of how you would normally conduct yourself. And it's very funny. It's a ridiculous wig. It's funny.
Until this season, all powerful kids in Stranger Things got their powers from lab experiments, like 11. But Henry's story, we see he already had powers. Is that something to be explored in season 5? Could you talk a little about it?
You have to ask Matt and Ross Duffer. That's the answer that I have. Yeah, you'd have to ask those guys. I mean, I think 11 is obviously a byproduct of Henry. She is his sister, effectively, or his child almost, because Brenna recreated all the other children from Henry, or at least that's what we're led to believe. So we've explored a bit in this season, particularly in episode 7. Sort of looking back at his flashback in his youth. I don't know. Again, you'd have to ask Matt and Ross.
Okay. After Dr. Brenner's death, Dr. Owens is the only one left from the original experiments. I noticed in Volume 1, when the military went to Dr. Owens' house, they took a box, and when they did that, Dr. Owens' wife asked, "Why are you taking Peter old school projects?" And this scene is related to Vecna's investigation. And when you was announced to the show, your character's name was Peter. Is there any connection between Henry/Peter and Dr. Owens?
Well, I'll also add to that. So if you remember when Elle sort of goes into the room to find Henry killing all the kids, there's a scene where Brenner picks up the phone and he hears a sound and he goes, "Peter, what's going on down there?" So the answer to your question is, I don't know. But good digging, and Matt and Ross don't do things by accident. So again, they might have to be the people that you ask, but certainly one to mull over, and certainly one to see if anything comes of that.
Okay. Would be funny because you was like Vecna slash Peter slash one.
I don't think. I mean, I know that Henry and One and Vecna are that's it. You know, the Peter thing was very much a red herring for everyone to kind of throw everyone off the scent of what I could be. So I don't think I'm related to Peter, but there could be a Peter out there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Joseph, you know fans always believe that their favorite characters could come back, like Barb. Until season 3, people believed she would come back. So I have to ask you, can we expect to see Eddie back in season 5?
I think there's kind of definitely room for a sitcom with kind of Barb, Bob and Eddie, isn't there? A kind of 2.5 Men situation. Kind of roommates.
Amazing.
Somewhere. I'd put that out there. I don't know, I would love to come back, but it's completely not up to me. We'll see if the brothers can wave a magic wand, but my suspicion is that Eddie's probably out of there.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
I love the whole season.
It's lovely to meet you.